Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Anna, and I am very happy to be here with you today. This podcast is for beginners, so we will speak slowly and use simple English. Today, our topic is success. Success can mean different things to different people. For some, it is about work or study. For others, it is about happiness and a good life. In this episode, we will talk about what success means to us and how we can reach our goals. I am here with my friend Mark, and we will share our ideas together. I hope you enjoy listening.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mark. Thank you, Anna, for the introduction. I'm excited to talk about success today. It's a very interesting topic because everyone wants to be successful. But success is not the same for everyone. Some people think success is money or a good job. Others think it is about family, health, or happiness. In this podcast, we will talk in simple English so you can understand easily. We will share our thoughts and experiences. I hope this conversation helps you learn English and think about your own idea of success.
Mark, I really like this topic. Success is something we all think about. For me, success is not only about money or a job, it is also about feeling happy and proud of what I do. Sometimes small things can feel like success, like finishing a task or learning something new. I think success can be different at different times in our life. I hope our listeners can think about their own meaning of success while they listen to us. What do you think about success, Mark?
Yes, Anna, I agree with you. Success is not only about big things. Small achievements are also important. For me, success means reaching my goals step by step. It can be in work, health, or personal life. I feel successful when I improve and learn something new. I also think it is important to enjoy the process, not only the result. If we enjoy what we do, we can feel successful more often. I'm happy to talk about this topic and share ideas with you today.
That is a great point, Mark. Enjoying the process is very important. Sometimes people only think about the final result, and they forget to enjoy the journey. I think success should also include feeling satisfied with our life. For example, having good relationships with family and friends is also a kind of success. It is not always about work or money. I think balance is very important when we talk about success.
Yes, Anna, balance is very important. If we only focus on one thing, like work, we may feel tired or unhappy. Success should include different parts of life. For example, health, relationships, and personal growth. I think we need to take care of all these areas. When we have balance, we feel more complete and satisfied. This is also a kind of success.
I agree, Mark. Taking care of different parts of life is important. I also think success can change over time. When we are young, we may think success is getting good grades. Later, we may think it is getting a good job or having a family. Our ideas can change as we grow. This is normal. I think it is important to understand what success means to us now.
That is very true, Anna. Our idea of success can change. That is why it is important to think about our goals regularly. We can ask ourselves what we want and what makes us happy. This helps us move in the right direction. I think success is personal. Each person has their own path.
Yes, Mark, everyone has their own path. We should not compare our success with others too much. Each person has a different life and different goals. I think it is better to focus on our own progress. Even small steps can lead to big success in the future.
I agree, Anna. Comparing with others can make us feel bad sometimes. It is better to focus on ourselves. If we improve little by little, we are moving forward. That is already success. I think this is a very important idea for our listeners.
Thank you, Mark. I think we had a very nice introduction to our topic. We talked about what success means and how it can be different for everyone. I hope our listeners can understand these ideas and think about their own goals.
Yes, Anna, this was a great start. Dear listeners, thank you for listening to our introduction. We hope you enjoy this topic and learn useful English. Now, we will move to part 1, where we will talk about simple ways to achieve success. Let's continue our conversation together.
Let's start part 1 and talk about simple ways to achieve success. For me, one important way is setting small goals. Big goals can feel difficult, but small goals are easier. For example, if I want to learn English, I study a little every day. I do not try to learn everything at once. This helps me stay motivated. Another way is to make a simple plan. When I know what to do, I feel more confident. I think small steps are very important. They help us move forward and feel successful every day.
That is a great idea, Anna. Small goals are very helpful. For me, another way to achieve success is to be consistent. This means doing something regularly. For example, I try to work on my goals every day, even for a short time. It's better to do a little every day than a lot one day and then stop. Consistency helps build strong habits. I also try to stay focused and avoid distractions. This helps me use my time well. I think good habits are very important for success.
Yes, Mark, consistency is very important. Another way I try to achieve success is by staying positive. Sometimes things are difficult and I make mistakes, but I try to think positively and not give up. I tell myself that mistakes are part of learning. This helps me continue. I also like to celebrate small successes. For example, when I finish a task, I feel happy and proud. This gives me more motivation to continue. I think a positive mind is very helpful.
I agree, Anna. A positive attitude makes a big difference. Another way to achieve success is to manage time well. I try to plan my day and decide what is important. I do the most important tasks first. This helps me use my time wisely. I also try not to waste time on things that are not useful. Time is very important, so we should use it carefully. Good time management can help us reach our goals faster.
That is a very good point, Mark. Time is very valuable. Another thing I do is ask for help when I need it. Sometimes I do not understand something and I feel stuck. In those moments, I ask a friend or a teacher. This helps me learn faster. I think asking for help is not a weakness. It is a smart way to grow. We can learn a lot from other people.
Yes, Anna, asking for help is very important. Another way to achieve success is to learn from mistakes. Sometimes we fail, but that's okay. We can learn what went wrong and try again. I try not to be afraid of failure. Instead, I see it as a lesson. This helps me improve. I think failure is part of success. If we keep trying, we can get better over time.
I agree, Mark. Learning from mistakes is very helpful. Another way is to stay organized. I like to keep my things and my tasks in order. For example, I write my tasks in a notebook. This helps me remember what I need to do. When I am organized, I feel less stressed and more focused. It is easier to work and achieve my goals.
That is a great habit, Anna. Being organized is very useful. Another important thing is taking care of our health. If we are tired or sick, it's hard to work well. So I try to sleep enough, eat healthy food, and exercise. This gives me energy. With good energy, I can focus better and do my tasks well. Health is an important part of success.
Yes, Mark, health is very important. Another way I try to achieve success is by staying patient. Sometimes progress is slow and I feel frustrated, but I remind myself that success takes time. I try to be patient and continue step by step. This helps me stay calm and focused.
I agree, Anna. Patience is key. Another thing I do is stay motivated by thinking about my goals. When I feel tired or lazy, I remember why I started. This gives me energy to continue. Goals help us stay on track.
That is very true, Mark. I think we shared many simple and useful ways to achieve success. These ideas are easy to understand and can help our listeners.
Yes, Anna, this was a great discussion. I hope our listeners learned something helpful. Now we are ready to move to part 2, where we will talk more about habits and daily actions for success. Let's continue together.
Now, let's talk about habits and daily actions for success. For me, good habits are very important. Every morning, I try to start my day in a simple and calm way. I wake up, drink water, and think about my plan for the day. This helps me feel ready. I also try to do one important task early in the day. When I finish it, I feel proud and motivated. Small daily habits like this can help us move toward success. They are simple, but they work if we do them every day.
That is a great routine, Anna. I also think daily habits are very important. For me, one good habit is reading a little every day. It helps me learn new things and improve my knowledge. I also try to review my day in the evening. I think about what I did well and what I can improve. This helps me learn from my day. I believe small daily actions are very powerful. If we repeat them, they become habits, and these habits can lead us to success over time.
Yes, Mark, I like your idea of reviewing the day. Another habit I have is writing a simple to-do list. I write a few tasks, not too many, so I do not feel stressed. When I finish each task, I feel happy. This gives me energy to continue. I also try to keep my space clean. A clean space helps me think clearly and work better. I think small habits like planning and cleaning can make a big difference in our daily life and help us stay focused.
I agree, Anna. A clean space is very helpful. Another habit I try to keep is limiting distractions. For example, when I work, I turn off notifications on my phone. This helps me focus on one task. I also try to take short breaks. Working all the time is not good. Short breaks help me rest and come back with more energy. I think good habits are not only about working hard, but also about resting well. Balance is very important in daily life.
That is a very good point, Mark. Balance is important. Another habit I try to build is staying positive. Every day is not perfect, but I try to think about good things. Even if something is difficult, I look for a small positive part. This helps me stay strong. I also try to speak kindly to myself. If I make a mistake, I do not say bad things to myself. I say, "It's okay, I can try again." This helps me continue and not give up.
I like that idea, Anna. Being kind to yourself is very important. Another habit I have is setting a time for rest and sleep. I try to go to bed at the same time every night. Good sleep helps me feel fresh and ready for the next day. Without enough sleep, it is hard to focus. I think many people forget this, but rest is part of success. We need energy to do our best work, and good sleep gives us that energy.
Yes, Mark, sleep is very important. Another daily action I do is learning something new. It can be small, like a new word or a simple idea. This makes me feel that I am growing. I do not need to learn a lot every day. Just a little is enough. Over time, it becomes a big improvement. I think learning is a key part of success. It helps us become better and more confident.
I agree, Anna. Learning every day is very powerful. Another habit I try to follow is staying active. I do some light exercise, like walking or stretching. This helps my body and mind. When I feel active, I can think more clearly. I also feel happier. I think physical activity is an important part of a successful life. It supports our health and helps us stay focused.
That is very true, Mark. Another habit I have is limiting negative things. For example, I try not to watch too much negative news or think too much about problems. Instead, I focus on what I can do. This helps me stay calm and positive. I think our mind is very important. If we protect it, we can do better in our daily life.
Yes, Anna, our mind is very important. Another daily action I take is talking to positive people. Good friends and family can support us. When I talk to them, I feel encouraged. This gives me strength to continue. I think the people around us can affect our success, so it is good to stay close to positive and supportive people.
I agree, Mark. Good people can help us a lot. I think we shared many useful habits and daily actions. These ideas are simple, but they can help anyone. I hope our listeners can try some of these habits in their daily life.
Yes, Anna, this was a great discussion. I hope our listeners learned something useful and easy to follow. Daily habits are very important for success. Now we're ready to move to part 3, where we will talk about challenges and how to overcome them. Let's continue together.
Now, let's talk about challenges on the way to success. For me, one big challenge is feeling tired or lazy. Sometimes I do not want to do my tasks, even if they are important. On those days, it is very hard to start, but I try to do one small thing first. For example, I open my book or write one sentence. After I start, it becomes easier to continue. I think the beginning is the hardest part. If we can start, we can move forward. This is my way to deal with lazy feelings.
I understand that, Anna. I also feel lazy sometimes. Another challenge for me is fear of failure. Sometimes I worry that I will not do well, so I feel afraid to try. But I try to change my thinking. I tell myself that failure is normal and part of learning. If I do not try, I cannot improve. So I try to take small steps and not think too much about the result. This helps me feel more confident. I think courage is very important when we want to succeed.
Yes, Mark, fear can stop us. Another challenge for me is distractions. For example, I want to work, but I check my phone or watch videos. This takes my time and energy. To solve this, I try to remove distractions. I put my phone away or turn it off. I also choose a quiet place to work. This helps me focus better. I think controlling our environment is very helpful when we want to stay on track and reach our goals.
That is a great solution, Anna. Distractions are a big problem for many people. Another challenge is losing motivation. At the beginning, we feel excited, but later we feel tired or bored. When this happens, I try to remember my goal. I think about why I started. I also try to change my routine a little, like working in a different place. This helps me feel fresh again. I think it is normal to lose motivation sometimes, but we should find ways to continue.
I agree, Mark. Motivation can change. Another challenge is being too strict with myself. Sometimes I want everything to be perfect. If I make a mistake, I feel bad. So now I try to be more kind to myself. I accept that mistakes are normal. I try again without feeling too much pressure. I think success is not about being perfect. It's about learning and improving step by step. This helps me feel more relaxed and continue my work.
That is a very important idea, Anna. Being too strict can make us tired. Another challenge for me is time pressure. Sometimes I have many tasks and I feel overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. In this situation, I choose one small task and begin. After I finish one thing, I feel better and continue. Breaking big tasks into small parts helps me manage my time better. It makes everything feel easier and more possible.
Yes, Mark, breaking tasks is very helpful. Another challenge is comparing ourselves with others. Sometimes I see other people doing very well and I feel not good enough. But now I try to focus on my own progress. Everyone has a different path. I do not need to be like others. I just need to improve a little every day. This helps me stay positive and continue my journey.
I agree, Anna. Comparing with others can make us feel bad. Another challenge is giving up too quickly. Sometimes people try something for a short time and then stop, but success takes time. I try to remind myself to be patient and continue. Even small progress is good. I think consistency is more important than speed. If we keep going, we will see results.
That is very true, Mark. Another challenge is feeling stressed. When I feel too much stress, I cannot think clearly. So I try to relax. I take a short break, go for a walk, or listen to music. This helps me feel calm. After that, I can focus again. I think managing stress is very important for success.
Yes, Anna, managing stress is important. Another challenge is not having clear goals. If we do not know what we want, it is hard to move forward. So I try to set clear and simple goals. This helps me stay focused. Goals give direction to our actions.
Let's talk more about challenges on the way to success. Another challenge for me is staying focused for a long time. Sometimes I start a task, but after a short time I feel bored and want to do something else. This makes it hard to finish my work. To solve this, I try to work in short time periods, like 20 or 30 minutes. Then I take a short break. This helps me stay focused and not feel too tired. I think managing focus is very important for success.
I understand that, Anna. Staying focused is not easy. Another challenge for me is dealing with negative thoughts. Sometimes I think, I cannot do this, or this is too hard. These thoughts make me feel weak, but I try to change them. I tell myself, I can try, or I can learn. This small change in thinking helps me feel stronger. I think our thoughts are very powerful. If we think in a positive way, we can do better and continue moving toward success.
Yes, Mark, positive thinking is very helpful. Another challenge is not having enough time. Many people are busy with work, school, or family. It can be hard to find time to work on goals. For me, I try to use small free time. For example, I read or learn something for 10 minutes. It may seem small, but it helps. I think we do not need a lot of time. We just need to use our time wisely and do a little every day.
That is a very good idea, Anna. Small time is still useful. Another challenge is feeling afraid to start something new. Sometimes we want to try a new activity, but we feel unsure. We worry about making mistakes. But I think it is important to try anyway. We can start small and learn step by step. Trying new things can help us grow and become more confident. Success often comes from trying, not from waiting.
I agree, Mark. Trying is very important. Another challenge is not seeing results quickly. Sometimes we work hard, but we do not see changes right away. This can be discouraging, but I try to remind myself that success takes time. I look at small progress instead of big results. Even a small improvement is good. This helps me stay motivated and continue working toward my goals.
Yes, Anna, patience is very important. Another challenge is losing energy. When we are tired, it is hard to stay motivated. So I try to take care of my energy. I sleep well, eat healthy food, and take breaks. This helps me feel strong and ready to work. I think energy is very important for success. Without energy, it is hard to do anything well.
That is very true, Mark. Taking care of our body is very important. Another challenge is doing too many things at once. Sometimes I try to do many tasks and I feel confused. So now I try to focus on one thing at a time. When I finish one task, I move to the next. This helps me stay calm and do better work. I think simple steps are the best way to move forward.
I agree, Anna. Doing one thing at a time is very helpful. Another challenge is not having support. Sometimes people feel alone when they try to reach their goals. But I think it is good to talk to others. Friends, family, or teachers can give support and advice. This can make the journey easier. Success does not have to be a lonely process.
Yes, Mark, support is very important. Another challenge is giving up after a bad day. Sometimes we have a difficult day and feel like stopping, but I try to remember that one bad day is not the end. I can start again the next day. This helps me stay strong and continue my journey.
That is a great way to think, Anna. Another challenge is not believing in yourself. If we do not believe we can succeed, it is hard to try. So I try to believe in myself, even if it is difficult. Confidence grows with practice. The more we try, the more we believe in ourselves.
I agree, Mark. Believing in yourself is very important. We talked about many challenges and ways to deal with them. I hope our listeners feel encouraged and ready to try.
Yes, Anna, this was a very helpful discussion. Challenges are normal, but we can overcome them step by step. Thank you everyone for listening, and now we are ready to move to the ending.
Thank you everyone for listening to our podcast today. We talked about success and shared many simple ideas, habits, and challenges. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and found it easy to understand. Remember, success is different for everyone. You do not need to be perfect, just take small steps and keep going. Try to build good habits and stay positive. Thank you, Mark, for this great talk. I really enjoyed it. I hope our listeners can join us again next time and continue learning English with us. Take care and goodbye.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you to all our listeners. It was great to talk about success with you today. I hope this podcast helped you learn simple English and also think about your own goals. Remember, success takes time, so be patient and keep trying. Small actions every day can lead to big results. I also enjoyed our conversation very much, Anna. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you again in our next episode. Goodbye.